Alright guys, officially about to start right now. I'm gonna print while I start working on everything. I hope this is a good view for everybody. But yeah.
Force our way upon the whole world, which is regressive. This is not the way to handle this new cycle. That's an old play from an old playbook that ultimately failed and would fail again. So this is the struggle to this regressive solution versus a progressive solution about how we deal with these next challenges that are going to come.
And I think that when we try to set ourselves free, thinking that someone's trying to make us slaves, we are creating someone who will make us slaves. That's why I believe that one of the most important things that we can do is trying to avoid the idea of in 2030 someone will start a new world order and try to fight them back. I think what we have to do is to enforce the idea of inner freedom more than someone will control the new future. Because we are creating that option when you think about it. I rather push the idea of we have to learn how to feel free within. So in 30 or so, in 2 years, when someone tries to control us, we already know within what it means to be free.
When you said I totally agree with that, what resonated in you, Robert, when Matthias was sharing that?
Well, I mean, I think Richard Rudd says that awakening is a series of thought things that turn pain into purpose. And the reason I think that's such a profound statement is because we can go through life thinking life is just happening to us. But actually, when you really look at life doesn't just happen to us. Things that happen to us are really things we perceive. It's not actually what happens to us. Other people could perceive it differently on how we experience their life. And when we realize that, then we start to truly awaken to the spiritual process, to recognize that I'm not just an actor or a dancer who gets into someone's music. I'm actually the DJ, or the producer. I'm also the writer, the script writer. I'm a director as well. We have a lot more control over
Alright, so while that is working,
experiences.
I'm currently peeling off
And
my
as a
black
result,
board.
I think what Matthias is saying
I already
is absolutely
cleaned
right.
back
Absolutely.
window
Which is,
and
if you
back
don't
two
believe yourself to be a
triangles.
victim, you will consistently
Right now,
experience
the back glass is currently
you believe
printing.
yourself to be a slave, you
Ready to
consistently feel
mold.
as if you're a slave, and that feeling will attract the slavery into your life as well. So the best thing to do is to break out of that cycle and start to think and embody and feel as if you're the opposite of that thing. And that's what Hermes and Phil talk about, like habit, not raising your vibration.
Unlocking the quarter panels.
You want as the outcomes rather than things.
I just heard my
You're
printer
afraid
finish
that
the
if
back
you don't do
glass.
something will happen. It's like people that want to lose weight, right? Go off
Peeling off the
picture of
windows.
themselves on the refrigerator. And that looks a lot better, so to show, than actually worrying about I'm going to get fat. Right? If you worry you're going to get fat, you're probably going to get fatter. Right? It's the nature of the hopping effect. This is a measured consequence. You've seen scientists do all the time. Yet this measure gets done because it changes our expectation. In life, we don't necessarily get what we deserve, and generally we get what we expected. Whatever was more powerful in that consequence of conscious mind or subconscious mind, whatever took over more effort or focus or attention is what would become our conscience. And I fundamentally believe that. And then I just want to add also to what Matthias was saying earlier. When you look at the precession equinox, I see it also in, I understand the concept of the but I see it also as reflection and absorption. So light and darkness. So I can't remember what your result was. It's Pisces. So your opposite sign, right, is going to be related to your shadow. So you realize this. My opposite sign is related to my shadow as well. What is my shadow? My shadow is all the things that are mind and conscious mind. can't see them myself. So my shadow is crooked. I'm Taurus. So all the things related to Taurus I've sort of avoided in my life. And then all the aspects that I didn't want to ascribe to, because through the accumulation of moments that I felt shame or moments that I didn't feel like I fit in or whatever, I started to separate myself from the feelings that then became the consequence of my unconscious side of myself. And that separation from my feelings, the inner feelings of the inner world, creates an outer world around me that I can view.
Alright, just set the printer up for the front
It's
two.
not only true for us. It's also
I'm gonna turn off the back glass now.
I've tested this INTJ or ENTJ or ENTP. As you go through our life, you can change so that you can evolve. But one point that I think is really important to note is that collective societies go through this as well. And so do moments of time. So just as an equinox is a good example of this. What we were talking about earlier was a shift of 12,000 years ago. Where 12,000 years ago, we would have been in the Leo.
Alright, back glass is done.
The
Put my DSP real
opposite
quick.
side is Aquarius. So therefore, all of the things that show up for Leo would have been really resilient. So that means there would have been a lot of gold around, because gold is seen as part of sort of Leo. And that's why also we're seeing this.
Alright, front two windows are almost done.
All the trends
Everything out.
30 years ago, yellow gold was so popular. Now it's getting kind of popular again. Why is this? It's because part of it is this undercurrent, right, of this collective shadow that we have. And when you start to recognize these aspects, you can start to go back through time and say,
I kind of moist shrink it. I don't like to put the film on when it's fully dry.
So you found your exact right path, right?
This is how I like to do
match
it.
up with your North Node. You know your
My
North
H
Node.
tag.
No, I'm not a big astrologer guy.
It's worth learning this. It's really worth learning it. Because I wasn't either. I'm Pisces.
Alright, front window's just finished.
And I was Virgo in my South Node, which means that, you know, I was in this stressful life, going to be a business guy, going to be successful, all this stuff, and mother's going to tell me what to do, and this is how it's going to be, and then I go into Pisces. And now I find myself in a role as teaching esoteric wisdom. I never thought I would be doing. That's exactly in line with what my North Node suggested it was supposed to be. So when you look at it in context, look at it from a collective perspective. The last 2,000 years have been Pisces in America. So what has been the shadow of Pisces? Shadow of Pisces is the Virgin, right? The Virgin. Is there any wonder then why we had for the last 2,000 years this veneration for virginity
And this obsession with, quote, purity.
This obsession with purity.
And this classification of what is pure and what is impure, which
I'm
comes-
more all of it.
That's right, and a woman that comes from this worship of the Virgin Mary, right? The concepts of virgin birth. And then this then leading to the separation between the two fish going in opposite directions tied together on the road, which is what Pisces is. You could say that's
¿Cuánto aquí tiene garantía polarizado?
Por vida.
there's so many aspects that you can basically tie to this. But then if we go back even another 2,000 years before that, what was it before that period of time? So the period before that was actually there. We go back in history, this is the Bible. When Moses was with the period of Aries. And so what do they keep talking about during Passover, Pesach? Put lamb's blood on the door. Right? The blood of the lamb will save you. Because it was all about the ram or the lamb. The lamb of God. And then Jesus comes along in the Piscean era and he says, no, no, no. I shall make you fishermen of men. So it's all about Pisces at that stage. So when you say echo, I see absorption, reflection. I see shadow. I see conscious. I see unconscious. I see collective unconscious. And what we're experiencing right now is the same collective unconscious that would have been the opposite mirror reflection of 12,000 years ago. And so that's why it resonates deeply for me. What we're facing, what we're dealing with right now is actually bringing some resolution to what occurred 12,000 years ago.
So as you're speaking, there's a couple things that come to mind. One is, total agreement and alignment. When I was first introduced to any spiritual knowledge system through the Toltec books that were Don Juan's beliefs passed through Castaneda, and then they said that there's basically two different types of people. There's the Naguals, who are the artists who paint the masterpiece of their own life, who reach the enables municipals to just allow themselves to be, victims to life circumstances. Oh, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. They don't take ownership and power of their own intent. And so full resonance there, I still believe that to be true. And then there's also, I think,
Después se le puede
a
quitar o
very
ponerle otro.
painful also not entirely true interpretation of this, which is everything that happens to you is always your fault. So all of those people who were at the music festival who didn't go,
Sí, pero nomás tengo que cobrar para los dos. Pero sí.
and get kidnapped and all of the horrible things. Well, that doesn't make sense entirely either, because other people have free will that can actually be killed upon you, and you can actually be a victim that's not. It didn't happen.
perdón, y eso.
This isn't your karma. You're not somebody who slayed somebody else in the past life, and therefore you're slave.
No te
They
cobro
all
por
have
ahí.
their own laws and systems, that, and I'd like to actually go into that more, but it also doesn't make sense to me to say every victim of a rape, every victim of a murder, like, oh, well, you called that in on your own life. So both are true, and this is not necessarily a contradiction, but a paradox about the world.
I think that sometimes when we talk about these statements of spirituality, that you are the creator of your reality, we sometimes misinterpret that in a very linear way. Like, for example, the law of karma. Like, people say, oh, this is karma. Like, you've been a bad person in past life, so this is happening now because it's not linear. It depends on so many aspects that we don't control. We have to think that when we live our lives, and we think, and we say something, and we do something, sometimes it's not related at all with what our leader is doing, or what all our cells, because our cells have been produced for billions of years, living many different experiences, and they carry that experience and that pattern within a whole other different pattern. So when we talk about first, me, myself, I am the creator of my own life. I suddenly forget that there are billions of other beings that are living within me, that have created other realities, that have been living other realities or creating other paths. So eventually they all turn out to become this being that I am here, but there are thousands of forces that are pulling into different directions over time in our creation of who we are. So becoming aware that we are the creators of our reality is not as simple as yes, is creating this. No. It is my mind, which is the personality of Matthias, is trying to lead all these other possibilities that will be within me into one direction, even though I am being pulled by thousands of other forces that I cannot control in the subconscious and the unconscious, that I won't be able to really manage until I become right when every cell becomes one. So it's not that linear, like I choose to live this reality, or I choose to be cured in this situation like that. Because I have been pushed by many other forces that are creating my reality too. I'm talking about astrology or astronomy. You can think that nothing in this life is really manipulating what we are, like as too far away, even though every feminine body lives according to the moon. And every emotion is related to the water, and the moon is moving the water. And that's something very physical that we can see when we go to sea. So things that maybe I say, I don't believe that the moon controls me, but even though the tides won't stop because you can do it. So, because there are many other keys that makes us remember that we are not who we think we are. Matthias is not. consciousness is just a product of the spirit that leads to many dimensions, and it's illuminating in the sun and in other people. So when I am living a situation where I consider myself a victim, actually it's myself in different aspects controlling this tiny little aspect of the reality. And that's why it's so complex. And even if we try to think I am the creator of my own reality, when I say that, it's not true. I am is the creator of my own reality. It's correct.
I totally resonate with that. And also somebody else who is both creator of their reality and also subject to forces that they are not conscious enough of to take control over may actually interfere and affect your reality.
Or we were saying about the weights.
Right? Like, so somebody else can choose to do something based upon their own momentum and impulse that could affect you. You know, that is not part of what your essence is calling in necessarily. It's part of their story, and that you are somehow a casualty as a part of their story. I mean, and that's again how you explain, you know, a bunch of evacuees, you know, getting bombed on their way out of Palestine, right? This is not just one side where there's people who are, they're not calling that in. They weren't calling in somehow, but that bomb came and somebody launched it, and you know, hopefully it was an accident that happened. But either way, whether that was intentional or whether it was unintentional, there was something that happened that interfered with potentially the story of what the being in its totality was calling in. And so it's this interesting combination of both. And I think this is where there's humility in facing the mystery. Right? There's a reason why you call it divine mystery. And even someone as wise and attuned as yourself, you're always looking for clues and patterns to help decipher the mystery. It's a big part of what you're doing. Looking for all the clues. Like, we did it together. How do we decipher? How do we decipher the mystery? But it's still humbling ourselves before this is a mystery.
It's very true. You know, I take experience all the day. And I believe that destiny is the free will of the higher self. So what do I mean by that? There's an aspect of me that I hope to connect with. There's an aspect of me that is the intellect. There's an aspect of me that is the subconscious, the unconscious mind, that every day I'm trying to find synchronicities, right, to be able to make connections with that higher wisdom. That's the part of me that basically has determined the path that this body, this avatar, will take along my journey. And just coming here, I can tell you probably 50 synchronicities. If we have time to determine that I was supposed to be here right now, right here. And without any question about it. And so I lived my whole life for 50 years plus, not even realizing that all of it was so perfectly ordered. And so even down to the point, you've seen the Matrix, Revolution, the Matrix, you know? And there's one scene where the Oracle is sitting on a park bench, says to Neo, sit down, brush your feet. And he's like, no, I'll stand. And then the other second later, and he says, it looks like he said, I decided to sit down. And then he stops, he says, but you knew I was going to decide that already, didn't you? And she's like, yeah. So we think that we're making this choice in our lives. But there's an illusion, because there's an illusion of choice. We've created our own separation from our feelings, those things that brought us shame, those things that we did not want to associate with. And that, from a very, very young age, is what creates this veil of forgetfulness. It's like this mirror of consciousness. But then we create a persona out of it. A persona then flourishes and grows. And all the bad things that happen to us, we start to realize, actually can turn from lead into gold. When we start to see the arc of our life, we start finding encryptions we left ourselves through time. And you can't see this until much later in life. It was Steve Jobs who gave a speech at Stanford University for graduation. And he basically said, you know, you can't see how the dots in your life connect. You can see
We have to look at this as a journey in the cosmos, looking from the vantage point and purview of one life. Which then doesn't also reify this simplistic law of karma that we observe this, but this is also, we just are unable to grasp the perspective of the divine that is the divine weaver of all things, and how incredibly complex that is. But in that understanding, which I'm open to also accepting, I want to ask about your belief, is chaos, this feeling that there's just chaos, things are happening randomly by chance, is that just a failure to be able to grasp the highest perspective of the mystery itself? Or is chaos legitimate random number generation? Is that part of our reality? Is chaos an element, and how deeply does that extend? I mean, is there, you could just be cruising out one day on a walk and a boulder could fall off the hill, and that's random. It's just chaos. So like, what are both of your opinions about chaos?
I make a really generator. So I make a generator, and yet I don't really fully believe in the concept of generator. So I'll start with that paradox, because I believe fundamentally that before I used to believe in this. I used to believe in plagiarism, and I don't believe it at all, because I realized that every time I thought it was random, it was simply because I was not able to perceive the encrypted pattern that was around me until I raised my own consciousness to a level to be able to perceive it. And that was a huge thing for me. And what I mean by raising my consciousness is it required me doing a big zoom out, like seeing a bigger picture. And when interpreting in those terms, like, okay, what is the only objective truth? What is objective truth? We're all basically dealing with this right now. It's like, seems like there's so many different truths. There's your truth, there's your truth. Everyone's how can there all be all these different truths? So what you realize, you have 30 people crime that occur, right? And you've got 30 witnesses, eyewitnesses to the crime. Somehow you go forward. There's 30 different stories, entirely different stories of the whole. And then you realize, well, maybe the only way to get to the whole truth would be to sum, to add them all up, all of the possible subjective perspectives that could exist on it. See, I used to collect facts in my life. I collect fact here, number this, number that, learn all these things. And then finally I realized all these facts that I was collecting, they're actually just facets. It was F-A-C-E-T, making facets of a larger prism. And then I started thinking, well, geez, if God himself or herself is a true philomath, a lover of learning, what would he do or she do but break themselves up into billions and billions of different possible viewpoints and perspectives and gain greater and greater wisdom and a collective Akashic field of information that each one of us serves into, where we're basically bringing our own unique conditioned biases, we bring our own perspective, our own experiential learning, bring our different viewpoints so that one universal source can actually gain more and more wisdom through our very existence. Each one of us become one part of
all of this stuff.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I'll sort it out. Did you card and then what's it called? I don't have time today. Do you have time? Monday?
Today my first weekend off. That's the only reason why I can't stop today. I got work to see.
Do you have time tomorrow?
What time tomorrow?
That's my personal.
Like 2 o'clock?
Okay, I'm coming 2 o'clock.
Okay, that's perfect, boss. Yeah, we'll definitely try. I'll have a second hand tomorrow.
There's a danger to go to a world this kind of postmodern, post-truth.
Oh, it was the girl?
Yo, it was zero the last time. I think it was
Post-identity,
like,
there are first values and principles of the
I forgot it was
cosmos that have to aggregate and collect all of these perspectives without which everything is more
Okay.
and
equivalent.
then
that if you
I
know,
gotta
if you
know
go up and stab
about 2 months.
somebody,
I know you remember
well,
because I
that's
got
your
real
perspective,
people
and if you want to hate someone, it's
Yeah, I
your
remember.
perspective. These are stories
Yeah.
and moral
And the
equivalency,
windshield,
neither one really
it's all,
matters.
it's messed up
And there's,
too.
And that was the girl who did that?
No, I think you did.
It's all just.
Oh, okay.
Cause I said in here, we can't listen to another guy.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, can you come tomorrow?
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Alright.
Feelings knowing in the body that stabbing is different from
I'll see it, está bien.
that love making. So it's both, yes, there's all these different perspectives, and there's also first values and principles that live within the very structure of the cosmos as well. So, which is again paradox. It's not a contradiction, but can hold both.
I don't know much about biology or science, but if you try to compare like a body, a human body, and try to explain how perfect it works in a chaotic order, like every cell, every atom doesn't know that the other cell exists. They don't know how the blood comes from, or how this function, or how this hormone, but it all seems so chaotic, even though this is real life, and this is work perfect. And I'm thinking of moving my hands, and my brain knows exactly what to do. And so, and if you see the brain, it's chaos. It's like all the time is chaotic. So there's a perfect, beautiful order in all things that goes beyond our understanding, because the patterns have been so perfect for billions and billions of years, and even before the time was existing, the patterns that exist there are just repeating themselves in different order. So our human mind tends to solve problems. So we have to design in order to survive. So that's why we say this is the wrong way, this is the right way. So our pathways in the brain are all the time trying to figure out how to survive. And because of that, we created a cultural or belief system of this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is chaos, this is order, this is so for us to feel comfortable with that. But every decision of this is chaotic and this is order will create a pattern. And starts to that multiplies constantly. The brain is trying to multiply as many options as possible, and then we choose one of those. That it looks like it's random, but actually it's because it's been for billions of years practicing how to find a perfect pattern between all that. And the choices of meeting the perfect path needs to
Solo por un
also
vídeo de
take
atrás,
on the video.
¿O el más grande?
Sí, el más grande.
100.
There is a moment in all this expansion and perfection of the entire thing that is so complex that looks chaotic, that the reality becomes toxic. And it's basically when yourself, which is as an atom, you lose a part of yourself, or the inner part of yourself, and you give it away to someone else. This is when a proton loses an electron. When a proton loses an electron, the proton becomes toxic. So as more electrons are lost your inner side, the environment becomes toxic. Your negative side. So
Hey, what's up, Kareem?
as more
How you doing, brother?
without
See you, Ken?
interconnectivity.
Hell yeah. Shoot, I'm doing good, man. How are you, bro?
Yeah, we move within separation.
Just hustling right now.
And then when
Tomorrow
we
night
decide
classes,
that
bro.
separation,
Down chill for a second?
become cancerous, they all apply for their own.
Oh, wait, oh, for sure, bro. What you got going on today? Oh, what's up, man? Was that the dude I met? Oh, that dude, yeah, yeah. You guys about to do, man. Great to see you, bro. You look good, bro.
And if I multiply just for my own sake, which is only my own species or structure or race or class.
Oh, you checked it out. How was it?
Then actually the whole system. So it's about restoring this understanding of.
Hell yeah. The night you gotta go, absolutely go. Next time, Thursday.
Because you see,
Thursday nights is when they have, I'm sure you've heard somebody talk about it.
it's actually
Like
it's
crawl.
fun.
There's like a bar crawl.
Altogether normal.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
okay, all the parts is here. All the meetings here.
Man, but and then after that, what you
So
got going on?
that's why the idea of separation is good, because we try to organize things in a way that we think it's better to choose. Like, okay, if I choose this side,
You like Mexican food, bro?
if I choose this side, I'm gonna do
Bro,
that.
I found this
So
street
we
spot.
say,
Not
usually
the
don't
street.
like negativity,
Not that
because
far away,
we don't
actually.
want to be negative people and going like low. But that's the other thing. The other thing is the one that it's like that. So we tend to give it away our inner side in order to be part of something outside. And that thing outside, it becomes toxic. Because it's only one option.
Just got the
So
box.
in our same biology, all these cares creates disorder, like it's like that. And every time when we try to organize the things in separate packages for our mind to feel, okay, now I know this, we create toxicity in this. Or,
And this also points to, I think, what you know, as a shared solution. Just like building from the inside out. So this is part of, you know, we're talking about the path that you've explored deeply along and you as well. And how it relates to the philosopher's stone. So let's get into that because you highlighted some of the challenges and problems and difficulties and also the necessity of the whole paradox. And then pointing the way towards the solution is pointing towards inside, so you'll find different songs and then instructions that are created by the ancients to help guide people.
Oh shit, absolutely, bro.
Going back to the
So I have one new guy starting tomorrow. If he doesn't work out and not far from then hell yeah, bro. Cause I was always trying to like find people that already know how to do it. I don't see that's the thing, I don't know. But I never
I know what you're saying, like, it's easier to say
wisdom structure.
Because it like takes like
Can
get
be trained
quick.
from an original
And, like, to be good
wisdom
on your
structure
own,
in
it takes
times, and then as it's
Take 2
dispersed
months,
from
but
this
like every day I was doing it, and
cultures
even
that
then,
develop, the
it's
same
still not like
understanding that we all
necessarily.
have to go through
To get
this
up to, I feel like
initiation
we're
in order to bring
temple,
ourselves
the temple to the shop,
and be able to actually restore
like
all
compared to like other shops, like my boys that got shops in the city, their prices start off at like 500.
everything you realize.
So it's like we gotta be quicker and do like hell more. Yeah, no, I would love to, bro. I actually thought about doing that the other day, bro. I thought that would be sick, bro.
Let's say you're a dude and you go to your simulation
Yeah,
building.
it comes with some money, bro. I don't need money.
That is the definition.
I know, bro. I know you've been getting after it.
You don't know what the purpose is.
I like to be precise.
You don't
I
know
like
what
to
how you do it. It's
like
just gonna go with
Whatever I do, bro, I always try to do
right?
the best.
For what benefit. So when you build up all of your ethics.
Man, I
around it, you have to realize.
Oh, bro, thanks for the weather. Nice today, but I don't know if it's tomorrow, bro. Apparently it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, next week.
And so you start to get into arguments with people and you can't even see the alternative viewpoint. Because you're acting in this, but you're literally unconscious of the aspect that
This one I
all
want.
of us are we're not human. We've all experienced moments where
I like that, this song, that thing is an 18
I don't want to judge anybody for it.
Hey, I forgot. We used to
Everyone
have
has
like
their own
the same size thing as my kid.
Bro, I got a room for Section 8, so I'm not gonna fall into it.
What? Should. Oh, like the
That's why I think it's
$100
natural to realize that so many times that as I look back in my life, the most difficult circumstances are the ones that have been found on me. That's standing in the way. If I go back to third grade,
I would love to get Section 8.
I really didn't know the teachers were
Yeah, moving your thing
What if it is like so?
And because they believe the software is going to make it, and it pushed me further that I know as an athlete, you're experienced.
I really understand by that. That was something I always remember.
Often, there's moments when you think this is the worst thing that happened.
And that's kind of like, that's not me out before us here.
Time
Trust your addiction.
has its
Oh, wow.
polarity.
That was for a reason.
You can look at those terrible, terrible circumstances and look back on them and say, you know what, that was a difficult time, but as I look back on it.
What's actually
Bro, it's like a street food spot. I just found it the other day. It's hell, bro. They hooked me up with a quesadilla, big ass drink, and I think like 2 tacos for like $20, bro.
To me,
And it was actually really good. You know how street food is kind of like sometimes hit or miss? Where's it next to? It's next to that Dollar General. You know, kind of heading down this way. Like when you make a left on Chase Bank.
I ain't gonna lie, folks was running the young bro. He was the most out. He was one of the most out.